Bought a vintage Handi Butler and it's not running, then this is a video for you. Now don't forget, every key to the video today, there are links in the description below for the best place to get those Kirby products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Hi Kirby fans, welcome back to the channel. So this is just a bit of a quick one on a Handi Butler. And I had a question of the day, can you change the belt on the Handi Butler because mine's not running? Well, it's a quick and easy fix, so let's dive straight into it. All right, so before we start, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, and I'll demonstrate in a second. But before we do that, there are two versions of the Handi Butler. Now you might not notice a difference, but looking at them straight away, you probably can. So the on switch on this one, which is off the early tradition, the on switch is down the bottom. So when you wind the belt on, we spin that up and that goes on. Now I'll explain why I don't like this system in a second, but I think this one's a little bit weaker compared to the Classic 3. So that winds your belt on, and then obviously when you put it on your machine, you'll flick it down and then it'll wind onto the spindle. Now with the Classic 3, the on switch is here. So to wind the belt on, we flick it down first, which picks up the belt, and then we flick it up to wind it on. So it's really basically the opposite way around. Now the only difference between these that you can see, if you look here, this is your stop bar, which stops you winding that over too far. Now, I think that is a lot stronger compared to the tradition. What I found with the tradition and when I picked this up was this part here was snapped off. So what they've done is they've wound that on, but they pushed it too hard, and it literally, because that is only thin connected in there and it's not down here, it does break off. So just be careful if you've got a tradition and you've got this version, because this is likely to snap off if you're not careful. Make sure you stop it when you turn it to the off position before you push it up too hard and break this off. Basically, I've had to put some glue in there to hold it on for now. I'm not sure how long that's going to last. When we flip it over, so wind that belt back off, that one's off, that off. Yeah, okay, so it has to be on to be off, which is weird. So as we flip them over, you can see that they're more or less identical apart from the screws. Well, on the Classic 3, we've got 3 screws here, and then on the Tradition, obviously that fixing for the screw is moved over, as opposed to there, it's over to here. So we'll take them apart, see what they look like inside. They should be pretty identical, and then I'll show you how we change the belt. So straight away with the Classic 3, we've got 1 long screw and 2 short, and with the Tradition, we've got 3 screws that are exactly the same length, so they're a lot longer. I don't know why Kirby changed these, but obviously they have changed the screws from the Classic 3 and put longer ones in on the Kirby Tradition. So we just pull these apart. So when you pull this out, just be careful. There's your belt. This belt isn't worn, this is pretty decent, this belt in here. And then you've got your roller mechanism there for your drill connection. So with the Tradition, we've got exactly the same setup, so that should fit in there, apart from the screw holes being in different spots, but it's basically the same setup. And then we've got our belt. So our belt on our Tradition is exactly the same. Okay, this one's probably got a little bit more wear, it is a bit more stretched as well, but it is pretty easy to change the belts. Now, I haven't got a spare belt with me at the moment, so all you do is you take your belt off, grab your new one, hook your belt on there, like so, get your mechanism, and you're just going to slot that in there. It needs to go on this roller section here. So if you put your finger through the hole, feed that through, make sure it's on that roller, push that in place, and that should slot in place like so. It should wind on and off, so you can hold it, you haven't got to screw it back together yet. So just check it winds on and off, which it does. It won't turn in that situ because it's wound on at the moment, so it's ready to be running with the Kirby because that is loose, but it would be connected to the spindle at that point. All right, so just put the screws back in. So with the Classic 3, the longer screw goes here and the 2 short ones go there. And now look at the Kirby Tradition. So the belt on the Kirby Tradition isn't the best. You can see it's got a little bit of a split in there. So we'll have to order a belt. There will be a link down in the description below of where to get these belts, and you can use a Hoover belt, so I will put a link down below to that if you need to replace your belt on your Handi Butler. But for now, we'll just put that back in there. Same process as the Classic 3. You want to hold your hand there, put your finger through just to support that belt. That roller has got to hit that belt there. And then you've got 3 screws, which are just your long ones, which go in exactly the same place. So it doesn't matter where you put these because they're all the same length. Right, so looking at the Classic 3 and the Kirby Tradition, the safety switch is in the same spot, so either one will work on either machine. Like I said, this one's had a bit of a bad life. That part there snapped where it hooks on. I'm not sure if you can see that on camera. The Classic 3 is in mint condition, and like I said, the only weak point I find about the Tradition version is that there has been snapped at some point, whereas with your Classic 3 you haven't got to worry about that because you haven't got, doesn't matter how hard you try and turn that, it's not going to snap that. Whereas that it will, because that is fixed down, and as you lift that lever up, it breaks it off. So just be aware of that if you've bought a Kirby Tradition Handi Butler. Now don't forget, everything to the video today, there are links in the description below for the best place to get those Kirby products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Hopefully it was a really easy process to change that belt on the Handi Butler. There will be links down in the description if you need to get a new belt for your vintage Handi Butler. It's not a Kirby product, but it is a version that will fit. Now for those of you struggling to service your Generation Kirby, check out this video next. And for those of you struggling to service your pre-Generation Kirby, check out this video next. So thanks for watching, happy cleaning, and I'll catch you in the next one.